Hey, it's Peter from Caffeine, and I want to talk to you in this little video about something that's absolutely integral to the success of my business, at least, reading. So back in 2008, I was starting to plan this business, and I wanted to basically learn about the best ways to do that. So I came across this book. It's called The E-Myth Revisited. It's basically a book about turning your business into what's called a turnkey business. Something you can come into that has systems and processes in place. Everything's done, everything's organized, because what you want to be able to do is set your business up as a product. You must treat your business as if it's a product. So we obviously, our main product is coffee. Yeah, we sell 500 to 600 on a very busy day. That's a product we take a lot of care, a lot of attention to, and obviously we sell that. It's the same thing with a business. You need to be able to sell it one day. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Walk out the door and just lock it? That happens a lot. How many businesses fail? A lot. You don't want it to fail. You want to set your business up and put all your work and effort into it so that one day someone comes along and says, I'm going to give you as much money as possible for your business because I think it's amazing and it runs perfectly. This book will help you do that. I've read it multiple times since then, in the last 14 years. And in fact, when I wrote my business plan, I took that to James Hoffman from Square Mile Coffee, and he said, you've read The E-Myth, haven't you? I was like, absolutely, okay. Now, another book, which I don't have here today, is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I read that a very long time ago, because would you believe it, I used to get told I was a bit of an arsehole when I was working with people. I was very direct, I didn't talk very nice to people, and I used to get told that quite often, because I wanted things done in a certain way. And so basically I thought to myself, shit, I've got to do something about it, so I'm going to read this book, and I did. And there's no way in the world I'm saying I'm perfect, but I will say that that book has helped me a lot in how I talk to people, treat people, and respect people. Anyone who moves up in this business to be an assistant manager, or anyone who moves up to be a lead barista, as in leading people, I give them as a present these two books, The E-Myth Revisited and How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's got to be one of the hardest things in the world to move up from a role, for example, in service, where you're doing such a great job, but all of a sudden you're now managing people and managing a business. It's really, really challenging. So I want to make sure that those people who do that are successful. Now there's a couple of others. Now there's a little story. In 2008, I went to a huge exhibition called Cafe Culture. It used to be held in Earls Court, and it was all about coffee obviously, but it was all the big boys of coffee. Specialty coffee industry was only just starting. A couple of guys were doing a talk there, John Richardson and Hugo Martin. They called themselves at those stages the Coffee Boys. And they were doing a bit of a talk about the coffee and the coffee industry. And I remember watching them on stage talking, and they said, go to a place called Flat White in Soho. If you want to go and check out how coffee is these days, go to Flat White in Soho. And I thought to myself, I absolutely want them to say my name on that stage in a couple of years once I've opened my own business. Okay, that was my goal. By 2011, I was on the stage with them. They were interviewing me about what it's like to run a business. But they've also written some fantastic books. This is the first one, Wake Up and Smell the Profit. Like, it's old, yeah? But there's 52 guaranteed ways, and these guys are really good fellas, about how to make more money in your coffee business. Because just like the E-Myth, this is what you're here to do. Make money and have a successful business. For example, here's one, I just opened the page. Number 26, say hello. Anybody who comes into this business or anyone who works here will know our first opening line, hello, how are you? Straight away, that's what we say. We don't say, can I help? We don't say, who's next? We say, hello, how are you? And people freak out. They're like, oh, you're asking me how I am? Yeah, absolutely, okay? Absolutely integral. Then, a couple of years later, they wrote another book, but this time it's a little bit different. They asked lots of coffee industry people to write a little thing about how they run their business. And guess who, one of the people they asked? It was me. So it was pretty cool. So 2008, I'm in an audience listening to these guys talk. A few years later, I'm in their book. Here we go, Caffeine. And I talk about, running the business, what's the one thing you wish you'd known you started before, all this sort of stuff. The one thing I wish I knew before I opened the business is what I tell them in this book is check the sewers before you open the business. Yeah, it's pretty gross, but if you're taking on a new premises, make sure you get your sewers cleaned out. So when you do open, they're all clean and tidy, you know there's going to be no problems. I can guarantee you from personal experience, you don't want that to happen. E-Myth Revisited, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Check out these guys, the Coffee Boys, for the books that they've got, because even though they're written maybe 15 years ago, absolutely still integral. And Colin Harmon's book. Check them out, integral to the business. I'll see you later.